The world of real estate is getting totally upended by artificial intelligence, and honestly, it's happening way faster than anyone thought possible. We're talking about a huge shift that's changing everything: how you buy, how you sell, how you work. All right, let's get into it.
So, first things first, look at this number, 27 cents. Now, what in the world does 27 cents have to do with, $1 million home? Just keep that number in the back of your head. I promise we're going to circle back to it.
And this quote right here, it really nails the first major change in this whole AI revolution. The way we hunt for homes is completely shifting. We're moving away from clicking a bunch of filters and just having a conversation instead.
So that leads us right into our first big topic, conversational search. This is all about what's changing for you, the person actually looking for a home. It's about how you're going to interact with all this new tech.
And it's probably no surprise that the two biggest names in the game, Realtor.com and Zillow, are the ones leading the charge here. But what's super interesting is they're not doing the same thing at all. They're making completely different bets on how they think you'll want to use AI.
And this is where you can really see how different their strategies are. You've got Realtor.com, which is basically meeting you where you already are, inside ChatGPT. They let you start talking there, and then they pull you over to their world. Zillow, on the other hand, they're building their AI mode right into their own app. They want the whole thing to be a smooth, all-in-one experience, from the first search to scheduling a visit.
But Zillow's strategy has a bit of a secret weapon. See, Zillow owns ShowingTime, and that's the platform that something like 90% of agents in the US use to book home tours. So, and this is the key part, when you find a house you love on Zillow using their AI, you can book a tour right then and there, in real time, all in the same conversation.
And why does that matter so much? Well, because the data is pretty clear on this. Getting a buyer to book a tour in real time like that, it converts them at 3 times the rate of pretty much any other action they could take. It's what turns someone from just casually scrolling into a serious buyer, like instantly.
Okay, so let's shift gears to the second front here, because it's not just about how you search for a home. AI is also giving real estate agents a set of tools that, honestly, would have seemed like pure science fiction just a couple of years back.
Hey, remember that number I told you to keep in your head? 27 cents? Well, here it is. We're talking about virtual staging. You know, the ability to take a picture of a totally empty room and, with AI, digitally furnish it so it looks like someone's dream home. This used to cost hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars. Now, it can cost less than a quarter.
And it's way more than just staging. A platform like Colav AI gives you this whole suite of tools for next to nothing. Agents can fix a gloomy sky in a photo, digitally get rid of clutter, create those really cool twilight shots, and even build these amazing 360-degree tours for, like $7 a room? This absolutely levels the playing field when it comes to marketing a property.
And you better believe agents are noticing. A majority of them, we're talking 58%, are already using tools like ChatGPT for their work. The adoption is happening really fast. But there's a catch.
See, the problem is most agents are using it like a fancy search bar. They ask it a one-off question to write a quick listing description or a social media post. But the real power, what the experts are saying, is in building a repeatable system for your business, not just firing off random prompts. So how do you actually do that? Well, you can start by creating a custom GPT that already knows your brand voice and your local market data. Then you organize your work into projects, one for listings, one for social media. You get the idea. Now, this next part is super important. Always treat what the AI gives you as a first draft. You have to review it. And finally, just start small. Pick one pain point and solve that first before you try to do everything at once.
I mean, this all sounds pretty incredible, right? Super powerful tools, better experiences for everyone. But when technology moves this fast, it begs a really important question. Who's making the rules here? And that leads us perfectly into our third and final front. The mad dash to figure out the rules and regulations before this technology gets way ahead of our ability to manage it.
So the industry's main governing body, the National Association of Realtors, or NAR, they see this huge problem coming. They're worried about a messy, chaotic patchwork of 50 different AI laws, one for every state. So their big push is to get the federal government to step in and create one single, unified set of rules for the entire country.
And what are they asking for? Well, 2 big things. First, they want something called safe harbors, which is basically a way to protect an agent who's using an AI tool from accidentally breaking complicated fair housing laws.
And second, they want clear copyright rules to protect the photos and descriptions that agents work so hard to create, so AI models can't just scrape and use them for free.
But here's the thing. While NAR is pushing for federal rules, the states, they aren't waiting. They're already making their own laws. This isn't some far-off future issue. California has a law about disclosing AI-altered photos that kicks in January 2026. Colorado's Big AI Act starts just a few months after that. I mean, the clock is seriously ticking.
So what does this mean for every agent listening right now? It means that Incredible 27-cent virtual staging tool is a game changer, yes. But if you use it, you absolutely need to know, like right now, what your state's disclosure laws are. The legal ground is literally shifting beneath your feet.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground here, from the buyer experience and the agent's new toolkit all the way to the race to write the rules. So let's just boil it all down. What does this all mean for you?
All right, for home buyers, the big takeaway is that your search is becoming a conversation. You should expect faster, way more intuitive results. For home sellers, look, professional-looking photos are no longer a luxury. They're the baseline. Your home can be virtually staged for pennies. And for agents, your toolbox is more powerful than it has ever been, but so are your legal responsibilities, and they're growing every day.
And that leaves us with one final big question to think about. We can see that AI is building the future of real estate at lightning speed. But the real question is, who exactly is drawing the blueprint?